Merry Christmas! And don't say that. Huh? What?
You have now joined the 8 Couple Podcast Show. Let me introduce our hosts, Laura and Xavier.
Merry Christmas! Oh, nice recovery.
Anyhow, so, or Happy Hanukkah?
Kwanzaa, or all the others.
Yeah,
I think they're celebrating on different days.
I have no
I'm
idea.
pretty sure they are, but it's fine. I just hope you're freaking happy. That's all we really hope over here at the It Couple.
Yep.
I guess gonna get warmed up. What we wanted to discuss was, well, I guess our holidays, what we've experienced,
holiday traditions, growing up, what we do now, which isn't much.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny just how much I feel like back in the day when Christmas time came, it was a much bigger deal. There's a lot of people who say things like, oh man, it seems like we're starting Christmas earlier and earlier and earlier.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there were Christmas decorations up before even Halloween hit.
Yes.
Like, that's insane.
Oh my goodness. The involvement, I feel like it just doesn't have the impact that it used to, even though we have now more things that can make it have an impact. I mean, you can very easily go purchase yourself a projector of lights on your house now. That's not something that existed back then.
Oh, I know. Like, that was something we used to do when I was a kid. We would, like, every year go and put up the Christmas lights around the entire roof of the house, put nails, fix them. If bulbs were out,
oh my God, yeah. And now with the power of LED lights, I mean, a lot of this is like the whole. It feels like it should be bigger, but I'm not sure if it's just technology or just the way it is nowadays. But I can't say, like, when people say, like, oh, say Merry Christmas, like I do feel your pain a little bit. I really do feel your pain, because I do feel like it was more special. I genuinely felt excited sitting outside.
Well, that could also be the difference between being kids and adults. I mean, it's like Christmas is a very different holiday.
It's a different experience.
Yeah, like, okay, you're a kid and you get hundreds of dollars worth of toys. You don't really realize that's hundreds of dollars worth of toys. But then you go out as an adult and buy hundreds of dollars worth of toys, and your piggy bank feels it.
And the funny thing is like, will this person like it? Will this person like it? Will this person like it? Versus, you being on the receiving end and like, oh, thank you. So it's like, or you get some of those gifts that just don't work out. And it's just, well, thank you. It's a totally different.
Give me a gift receipt.
It's a totally different dynamic. Okay, to start us off, let's talk about travel.
Yes, today we went and got my car's oil change, partially because it was yelling at me.
I guess it was a nice premium experience as far as oil changes go.
Yeah, we went to this Take 5. Or something. I don't know. It's like this quick oil change kind of place, and it just opened on, and so it was a nice new place, not a scary looking place or anything. And it was great. We got to stay in our car. They handed us water bottles.
Oh, they were very formulaic, I guess.
Yeah, it was as two military veterans. It was very much a military kind of procedure. Like everything went a certain way, but I really like that. I mean, it was very safety oriented.
It was like, what's your problem? What you need? Yeah, I'll do that. Which that's nice and personal and appreciative. But there's nothing like having us. Like, I feel like I can always come back and have a similar experience because that's how they're structured.
Well, and honestly, as a woman, a lot of times the oil change places they're a little scary, so I don't like going into them. And, and this is from somebody who grew up. My dad owned a body shop. I went into a body shop. I worked at that body shop when I got older. These places still scare me, like, as a woman. Like, it's just so anyhow, this one was a very nice, I wouldn't feel bad going there again.
Or recommend it to other people. We're not sponsored. This is just our honest take on an experience that we had from another business.
We're not big enough to be sponsored yet.
Yeah, you have your doubts, but yeah, I've seen people smaller. I'll be honest. Yeah, there are.
Oh, they just don't like us?
No, you were not reaching out to them, babe. None of the time to really let the audience know about that. But yes, we are looking for sponsors, but not heavily.
No, we just we like to talk about things that we like or appreciate, and if it's a specific brand that we remember, then we'll put it out there.
Yeah, honest, true. That's how we are. On the travel note, I back in the day, I remember like visiting let's say the in-laws or parents and stuff like that. And what we would do, we would all pile into the car, hit the road, and grab what is now a very foreign idea. We would go to Walmart and grab a map. And I am not joking. This is a very manual tool now.
Oh yeah, we used to have those too when we traveled when I was younger.
Oh yeah, does anybody remember having you unfold this tapestry?
Actually, what my mom used to do, she would go to AAA. And they would help to highlight specific routes and maps. And hey, you could try this spot or whatever. So we would have. And then, of course, if you're traveling across multiple states, you'd have multiple maps.
Well, we didn't have that. But I do remember like every now and then you'd get into a spot where you don't know where exactly you are, but you have to hit a certain road.
Yeah.
And I remember having to go to gas stations and kind of like, hey, where we need to go here.
Yep.
That was a thing. That's not a thing now.
No.
At least as far as I know.
Unless your GPS or your phone dies,
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cars these days have the GPS attached to them. So even if your phone dies, like you still have that one. So yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, there are times where I don't know what the heck I would do without like my phone with the GPS in it. Like it saves me so many times. I'm lost.
And I remember taking like, I'm not sure if it was, I guess it was more trips, like going back and forth, and we're going across different states and stuff like that to go visit family. And maybe that's part of where I have my theory of why Christmas may have been more special when I was younger. But we didn't do the trip every year. But the few years we did, you're seeing family members you haven't seen like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, I wonder how this guy's doing, or whatever, how he's grown. And then like, oh my goodness, he wasn't even walking. Now he's talking. And then,
no, we used to do that too. A lot of my family was up in Minnesota, and not every year, but a lot of years we would go up there. And I mean, I'd have to visit all the different families. So it's like you have your mother, your grandmother or whatever of your mother's side. Then you have the grandparents on your father's side. And then you have some others that just didn't, get the memo and come to those other hot spots,
And not to forget, there's always like the few family members that just never show up. They just totally gave up on it entirely.
But I mean, it's like, it was crazy. I don't know how my mom did it really, like with bringing all the presents that we had to bring for all my cousins and stuff, and then getting all of our presents that we had gotten back. Like, because sometimes we would drive, but sometimes we would fly. And I don't know. They must have had like an extra suitcase just for presents.
Yeah. Who knew that?
Of course, that was back in the day where you didn't really have to pay extra for the suitcases.
Oh my God. Flying is now completely different too. Now you just throw that in there.
You didn't have TSA or the checkups or, I mean, you could literally walk from, without a ticket, you could walk to the gate.
I remember being a kid and needing to be picked up at the airport. And as soon as I got off the plane, I was going by myself. As soon as I got off the plane, there was the other person on the other end. They're, right when I got off the plane. It's not, I had to go to baggage and pass the line. You don't have to walk to the gate.
Anything like that. You're right there. Yeah.
I mean, as far as like, granted, we had some events that happened, but I gotta miss that was a thing that we kind of lost because of those, because
it's like, it's that innocence, I guess, in a way that, we lost it. And I mean, our daughter isn't gonna, her first experience with a plane flight, she was like taking off her shoes and she thought it was really cool and all that, but she has no clue like that. We didn't used to have to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. That's the
go through an X-ray machine.
I didn't even think about that. Like, you know, I've never imagined like going to like, okay, we're going to the airport. Take off your shoes. What? Yeah. Do you have anything else in your pockets? Like that wasn't a thing. No one checked you. No one patted you down. In fact, I remember.
Well, I mean, now even like going to the movie theater, they check my purse when I go to the movie theater. Like I remember used to sneak in snacks. Now I can't do that as much.
I remember distinctly having my GI Joes. Now, if you had a GI Joe, that little screws inside there for the joints. They're metal screws inside the joints. I remember having my GI Joes and playing with my GI Joes on the plane.
Yeah. Now you have to be careful what you bring.
They had little machine guns and little knives and stuff like that. I mean,
I know. Like, I mean, I can't even bring like a nail file or anything like that on. Like, yeah.
Not that the airplane experience was always a fun experience at all.
No, I hated flying.
But it was a bad experience that they made feel worse. That's what I feel. Like it didn't improve at all. They just, it went down in quality. So I do think that it's something else that's missed. Driving laws. I'm just going to touch on this one for quick since I'm still talking about travel.
Okay.
The seatbelt law and stuff like that, and booster seats.
Oh yeah, I used to sleep like laying flat out in my on the car.
Same here.
The car.
Same here. Yeah, laid out, knocked out, sleep. I remember plenty of times being, really, really young and sitting in the front seat, standing on the seat, looking, while my mom is driving, or whatever, and going, look, like, oh, sit down. Actually, distinctly for Christmas. I remember like being in the front seat and like, and at night you turn around to turn on those neighborhoods, those really nice neighborhoods that maybe you didn't live in. And you see the Christmas lights and the trees and like, oh, look what they did and stuff like that. And that's how even that changed too.
I know, like we used to do that all the time. We would go around our neighborhood and drive around and look at everybody's lights. Now I feel like a creeper when I do that.
Yeah, it's a stranger danger. Like it's strange how more paranoid we are, and we have more safety stuff than ever before. I mean, I feel like we're like shivering and quivering with full on padding, armor on, and stuff like that. Then before was fully exposed when we're free. So I don't know.
I mean, one of my other things too, though, like growing up, since my family lived in Minnesota, like one of the cool parts for me was being from Florida and then going up north. And I mean, every year I prayed really hard and wished for Santa and everything I possibly could that it would snow. And it didn't all the time. It wasn't always snowing up there. I mean, Minnesota is known for being cold, but they're not always cold when you want them to be. So, because I mean, we would only go up for a very specific amount of time for the Christmas holidays and stuff. And so, yeah, no, I mean, it's I always loved that. Like, and then when it did snow, like big time snow, it was like so awesome. I mean, like,
I remember being in Georgia when we first saw it was sleet. It wasn't snow. It was just sleet. But in the first time experience, they're like, is it going to snow? Oh my God, this is icy and it's coming from the sky. It's great. There's going to be so much snow in the morning. Wake up the next day, it's all melted.
Yeah.
It's nothing changed. In fact, it's raining. Like, come on.
And there was once in Florida where we had hail. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I mean, it literally melted as soon as it touched the ground, but it was still really cool. It was like hail, and it's like the size of a marble, it's like itty bitty, but it was fun, so yeah, I mean, it's like there were a lot of different things that as a child, you experience, but I think a lot of it is you see it through the eyes of a child versus now we see things through the eyes of adulthood.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about earlier, of like how we went to go see what movie was it that we saw? Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
And there was Spider-Verse, yes. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but like many movies out there in the world, there's a scene that's a little sad, and she was kind of crying during it.
Oh yeah.
And what I thought was kind of interesting about that moment is think about when we were her age. There's the Lion King that's coming out, and that. No, this is a spoiler if you haven't seen it, but there's a sad scene in that movie too. Yeah, a lot of people know about it. You probably heard someone say it and spoil it for you already. Anywho, I remember like those were the movies. It was Disney movies back then that would give you the feels. Fox and the Hound,
Dumbo,
yes, which is also
Bambi.
coming up. Yeah. And the two movies that I think we've seen her, emotionally kind of, get shaken up.
There's two of them I've seen her cry in for sure. The most recent was that Spider-Verse, and then the one before that was we saw the latest Avengers movie. Oh my gosh, she was bawling when Black Panther died. Like, I mean, just sobbing, and like, I'm like, it's okay. He will come back. They make too much money off of him.
I mean, like, don't worry about it. We know these movie tricks. Like, trust me. Don't worry. He's coming back. You spoiled. I tried to hide it, but no, she's spoiled. But
I'm sorry.
Anywho, Black Panther dies. But I gotta.
So does half the no.
Actually, no, we spoiled this a long time ago because we did actually do a review on.
Did we? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we did. Thanos the movie. Yes, we did do one.
Oh yes, I remember.
But to kind of come back, think about this is what is going to be in her childhood that she's seeing now. It's something that we couldn't even imagine.
No, yeah.
I mean, we were still living the days of Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, Disney was like the big. I mean, it still is the big thing, but it was a different kind of big thing then. Like,
yeah. But I feel like in a way, and it's kind of funny because those shows that she's been we're of course allowing her to watch and whatnot. As far as like their appeal and to who they appeal to, it's such a such broader spectrum of the market that appeals to both adults and children.
Yeah, I mean, Disney movies back in the day, they were meant for kids. But I mean, as adults, you got a different kind of feel from them. I remember like my dad, his favorite was always The Little Mermaid, and so like there were things as an adult he picked up that I didn't pick up as a kid then, and so. Now as an adult, like I see those things too. It's like, oh, okay. Things that went over my head as a kid.
Well, I guess like part of my thing is think about this. We both went to go see those movies and we got pretty much the same experience. What was interpreted by both. A few jokes, of course, go in there, but it's just a few jokes now. It's not like, there's a separate meaning through the entire movie where the adults kind of, oh, okay, I see what you're saying there. And the kids kind of like, oh, flowers. Like, no, you're both of the audiences are involved in the same experience. So,
yeah.
And
all age groups, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I could feel like when, they get older, when our daughter gets older, when we talk about like these movies, we can talk about in depth about our experience with these movies, what's our actual favorites and having reason behind it, not just saying, well, I like Little Pony. Like, well, it's a good movie, but it's not, an adult movie. It's not for me.
Yeah, no, it is a very interesting concept. Oh, we got off topic again.
a little bit. We went straight into movies. This is part of our rambling that we do a lot of. There was a couple. I think we had a short list of things we wanted to cover. This was a holiday one. Where when we release this, it's going to be Christmas Eve. So it's like it's a different kind of topic. We wanted to talk about like the holiday kind of thing without like, I don't know. I don't know where I was going there. I don't know where you were going there too. You took the wheel. I let it happen.
I let go of the wheel.
Let me steer us back in the direction. Go into the next area. Okay, now we talked about travel. We talked a little bit about a couple stuff, around the experience and stuff like that, and
our Christmas traditions
and whatnot. Now let's get into actually what you do when Christmas or New Year's Eve happened. You're meeting up with family, or family's coming over. You're eating, or you're just with your close family members, just like sister, brother, mom, dad. How was that for you starting off?
Oh, when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Well, when we were when we stayed in Florida, it was just us. So we would always open presents on Christmas Eve from the family and stuff. So like my family that wasn't in Florida would send down the presents to us. And so all of those presents we would always open up on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas morning would just be presents from Santa. And then we get stockings, and I always got like some kind of fruit in my stocking. Like an apple was pretty normal, or an orange. But I always had a fruit in there, in a fresh fruit. And then let's see. But when we would go up to Minnesota then to visit with the family, that was a little different and very busy. We would be up there for like maybe a week usually, sometimes less, sometimes more. So Christmas Eve we would spend with my mom's family, and there were a lot of us. I don't know how many, but there's probably a good 20 to 30 total adults and kids, maybe more, give or take. Depends on if everybody showed up. But it was always fun for me to see how high the presents would get. And I mean, like 1 year they got up to like halfway up the tree because there were just so many presents. And that was always the funnest part as like a kid. They would put us in charge of grabbing the presents and handing them out to everybody else. So we would like go in and be like, oh, this is to this person. And so, we would go hand it to that person. And then, of course, you see whose pile, is going to get bigger.
That's just totally. Mine was totally different. Actually, no, I wasn't going into like the presents part of it. But so then on Christmas morning, we would then go visit with my other, like my dad's family. And then sometimes we would also then drive down to to some more family that was a little further away. Yeah.
So because most of my family up in Minnesota, even though, they all lived in a relatively small area. I mean, not small, but like, they were close to each other in a way.
Yeah, we got it.
But some of them were much further away. So we would go sometimes drive to them later on in the trip. But there we go. That was pretty much about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say mine's completely differently, especially with the toy part. That sounds like it was partially organized.
Yes. Yeah. Well, my family.
Yeah. I remember like having the one Christmas we had people come and drive all the way a couple states across to come visit us. I was living in Louisiana at the time. So shout out to people in Louisiana. There's none of them watching on though. I don't know. But
I've seen one from Missouri.
Oh, shout out Missouri. This is not the state we're talking about. But so when everybody came over to Louisiana, they brought gifts and presents and stuff like that. And of course, there's the one part like everybody wait because
we did that too.
Everybody has to wake up, especially for the adults. Like this, don't start because we had to get cameras and stuff like that, and people want to take pictures, and so everybody has to wait. And then it was just once it was just a 3, 2, 1 go, and everybody just tackles the dang tree at once. Man. That was Christmas for me. It wasn't one person go grabs the present.
Oh no, it wasn't one of us. They would put all the older kids in charge of finding the presents and handing them out.
Oh no, it was just a mad dash. Like if you thought your name was wrong, you see people grabbing like, well, no, it's mine. It's mine. It's kind of this tearing. There's like a competition of just like angry animals.
Oh my God, I don't know.
This is Christmas. So just think of the Christmas spirit, and you just hear.
That does sound pretty chaotic. I mean, I thought ours was always chaotic because we had like people running everywhere.
No, I kind of liked the chaos. I thought that was really a good thing. It may have actually helped because I was really good at just kind of like snaking my way between like the toys, whatever. Like I would like if I saw one, it was like on the opposite end of the tree. I would climb underneath the tree, grab it, and like get all of them. And then and then we had it was like you would grab it and then you like put it in your spot, or you grab it and try to open up really quickly. And people had it was just madness for Christmas. And of course we had the stocking stuckers was like the last thing you think about, and also like it was always something from the dollar store, Dollar Tree. Very simple. I got like slime gack. I think it was called gack. It was like this really thick.
Yeah.
You can press it against paper and it would copy the print and stuff like that. I had it for like 2 days and it got stuck in carpet. And
that is slime, Play-Doh, any of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the best gift ever. At least it was only $1.
Like that.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's like Slinkies. They're like one of the worst ones too, because you play with it for a while and then all of a sudden it's tangled and it's like, oh, got to throw that away.
I had a Slinky that was years of frustration because it's like, okay, I saw it in the commercial. I'm not kidding. I know it was in the commercial. The guy threw the Slinky down the stairs and it smoothly and gently went down the stairs. I don't threw that Slinky down so many times.
You're not supposed to throw it down the stairs.
No, I didn't throw it. But after you get frustrated, you're going to start throwing things. That's just how the natural progression. Like, okay, Slinky, yeek, and then like it just went.
See, I got my Slinky to go. Only the metal ones will.
Yes, I had plastic.
Yeah, no, the metal ones work. And then you have to be careful because if it's carpet, forget it. Like,
yeah, it was always on carpet too. Yeah. So I had a double negative.
Yeah.
So like these stupid commercials.
Ours was carpet, but because I had the metal, I was able to get it down. But the thing is, growing up in Florida, we didn't have stairs. Like, I lived in a single, floor. So that was the other thing when we would go to Minnesota. Always loved. They had basements there. I thought it was the coolest thing as a kid.
Oh, I didn't see like basements till I went like to like where were we at? Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time I actually like seeing like legit basements. I was like wondering like how do you get a basement in your house? And then finally going like why don't people do this more often?
I know.
Basements are so cool.
In Florida, you'd be underwater.
but it'd still be fun. It'd be an in-house pool. That's I'm okay with that. But kind of going off topic there. What does it feel like when it comes to Christmas now? One, we are very much more organized than my family experience, so that was definitely a change for me. But the toys have incredibly changed on that. Except for getting like giant GI Joes and name your something dolly. Kids are now asking for gift cards for like for certain games that they play. I mean, gift cards is a thing that
there's
wasn't
a lot of like
before.
Techie kind of toys too, like or things even that we grew up with as a kid. Like Polly Pockets is now a thing right now.
Oh yeah, there's some comebacks. Tamagotchi.
Yeah, there we go.
You can go get your Tamagotchi today.
I know, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like the animatronic kind of toys, the like fingerlings, even things that make lots of noise, I
have noticed as if it's going to be a popular toy, it better make some kind of noise.
I know. Yeah. Well, a bunch of them do, so yeah, no, they definitely have changed a lot. I'm not sure if I could tell you exactly what kind of toys I got when I was a kid. I got a lot of Barbies and like
that's the go-to
and horses. Cause I went through quite a big stage. I still love horses. I just can't afford them.
Most people can't afford horses.
Yeah,
our crowd can probably relate. I mean, if you can afford a horse, I mean, that's a really big thing, but go ahead.
But yeah, no, I used to get Breyer horses and they're like model horses and stuff. So one year my dad and my sister actually made a barn for me, like a small one, obviously not a big one, but I helped my dad make a big barn later on when I was older. But
this your small projects you worked on as a kid. I never made a barn before, babe.
Yeah, well, I helped make a barn and I helped put a big fence together for when, because I did have a horse. When I was like a teenager, I had a horse for quite a few years. My parents owned property and then we had a horse there. And that's where we built a barn on the property and a fence, which you knew that property. You've seen it, not with a horse because.
Yes, I have seen it with the horse.
You did?
Yeah, I saw below.
You saw below?
Yes.
Huh. No.
Yes. Don't tell me what I saw. Listen, I know what I saw. There was a freaking horse, had a wart on his eye. But yeah, that was freaking Belil. Yes, you told me. You introduced me. Okay. Same time you introduced you to your favorite restaurant.
Skyline Chili. Yes, that was a requirement. He had to like it. Before I would marry, I had a boyfriend once that he didn't like it. And, that was not a great relationship. So
then again, I like a lot of foods that she doesn't like.
Yeah.
So here's the way I've been looking at it for a long time. Because, she brings it up and I always say it in my head and never say it out loud. But I've been thinking you've been failing a lot of my tests.
Oh.
At least you had the hot sauce one. That was the important one for me. And we all got to experience how that worked out.
It's so funny.
Oh no, no.
I can eat hot sauce. I just choose not to.
But I passed her test, so that's all that counts. That's all that matters.
Yeah, well, yes. So,
well, what do you think about okay, I just want to go. I'm gonna ask you this question.
Okay.
When you remember back being with like family, what was like one of the like most, I guess, memorable, positive or negative moment that kind of is like a highlight for you, for if you could think of it? Your best Christmas or most memorable Christmas. Tell us a story.
Well, I mean, I guess like the one I can think of off the top of my head is there was one year when I was finally old enough, we got to go snowmobiling. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I mean, I grew up in Florida. I've been jet skiing like numerous times on water, but now I was on a snowmobile and I got to drive a snowmobile. That was really cool. Like, it's a completely different kind of experience than like jet skiing or anything like that, and you have to be careful where you step off of the snowmobile at, because it's very possible that snow is a lot deeper than it looks. So I don't know if like, well, I mean, I think I don't think I ever wiped out, but I believe that I watched somebody wipe out, but I don't remember who it was. But yeah, no, it was fun, like, that I did that. So
that's pretty good. I don't have any snowmobiles. Okay, now I'm not sure if now for listeners are staying close, but there's a definitely like, what we call it, an economic difference between our backgrounds here.
Yeah, well, we're on the same level now.
We're on the same level now. We're
both poor.
Oh goodness. Anywho, but on
yes, okay. I grew up in an upper middle class family, and during a time when there actually was such a thing as a middle class. Yes.
I don't want to go into the depression of everybody's economics and stuff like that.
You don't want to brought it up.
Oh, I just said our economic differences. I was going to leave it at that. All right. Anywho, but I'll also say that's just something incredible too that we kind of have on there. Some of the gifts that I remember getting and receiving. I remember like someone receiving a camera. I remember someone receiving like a little cassette radio thing. It was like combination radio and cassette player all in one.
Yes, I remember those. I had one for a while.
I remember the wireless phone.
Oh man, I remember the first time I got an MP3 player. That was the coolest thing ever.
I had a really good skip resistant CD player.
Oh yes, I got one of those too. I remember that.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh man, I can shake it. Okay, it skipped a little bit, but just. Oh,
my Game Boy.
Oh yes, Game Boy.
The big hunker brick.
That if you have one, I know it still works. It was one of the most reliable things. It's the Nokia of gaming systems.
And they were like, yeah, I remember getting that thing. It was like the coolest thing ever.
I remember like part of my one of my favorite Christmases is when we got the Sega Saturn. I have an incredibly overexpensive. I want to say it was around like the $500 to the $600 range.
God, really?
Yeah.
Back then? Wow.
Yeah, it was really ridiculously expensive. I don't know how we got it, but I remember like once I had the Sega system, the Sega Saturn, I had a few games in there, and I remember like having all my cousins. We're all sitting in my room and we're passing around the controller. It's just two controllers, and we're playing Virtual Fighter. And just a pure blast. Or it's just like that was family gathering, I think, at its best for us while playing the game is, we have someone kicking butt and then someone else picks another person and kicking a butt. And then you're all like, it's a lot of people just kind of like all in the room together, all kind of passing controller and kind of talking. And it was a moment that kind of got everybody together with a simple purpose of kicking people's butts after literally kicking our butts for trying to grab the presents so fast. And just enjoying life. I kind of remember that was the quintessential moment of having everybody there and talking and having fun. Like that's what was really cool to me. So Now, we were middle class too, so we bought a really nice, expensive gaming system. So you can keep your jet skis. We had family fun in the house.
Snowmobile. We only rented them.
Snowmobile, yeah.
Although I believe at that time my uncle actually owned his own, but I mean it'd be like
you're making this worse for yourself.
Well, that was my uncle. That was somebody else. Well, I didn't own that. We didn't even own jet skis.
We live in Florida.
I know. You can rent them.
Okay, there's a reason why you didn't own a jet ski.
Well, no, jet ski. You can own a jet ski in Florida. Those are the ones that you go on the water in.
Oh, okay.
A snowmobile is the ones that you go in the snow.
I get really confused. This is like, okay, there's the word ski.
They're very similar.
And then there's jet ski, and then there's like, okay.
And then there's skiing itself, which there's different kinds of skiing. You got water skiing, and then you actually have snow skiing. Which I've never done the snow one. I've always wanted to. One day, I think we will. We just have to wait for our daughter to graduate from college. Actually, they just opened up a indoor skiing thingy in Florida and over in Orlando. Like, I just found out about this. Like, that is the coolest thing. It's year round, too. We got to go sometime. Okay. Getting back. We rambled. We're trying to come back a little bit. I think we're wrapping up now, though. Yes. Okay, well, I did want to end off on a bit of kind of how we see maybe future Christmas is kind of spitballing kind of what we can imagine. It's hard to try to predict the future, but I wanted to try to give it a shot. I mean, this is a very, very much changing world. Virtual experience is now a big thing. Social media is a big thing. The gifts I was talking about earlier, the camera, the radio, that's all done by your phone now. And those were separate features in themselves. So kind of what, spitball, what you expect. I don't know, the next generation going through the same process for Christmas would be like. Now already, you can put up the channels where you have the fireplace with Christmas music going in there. Or, even just think of all the things now you have with Santa. You can call Santa, you can email Santa. You don't have to send him a letter anymore. Oh yeah, you have those if you have an Android, you can do X to call Santa. There's a really awesome app. You can track him on GPS when he's traveling from city to city. It's insane. Do you remember the time we used an app to call Santa, and it's literally just a guy in front of his phone on this app playing a Santa, and it got our daughter good. It got her real good. So, he actually goes, hello. And he's like, tell me what you want. And then she screams it out. Oh, one more time. And it was so it was perfect. What, 2 years ago? Yeah. But the fact that he didn't have that experience out there. She's still you just recently did it again where you called Santa and, he was busy or whatever, and she's still, we went and visited Santa. And we're still doing the shelf on the elf on the shelf. Yep, we do that too. That's a big thing, and sometimes we forget in the mornings, and we could do something later on. You're not the only ones out there. In case you're in the good fight. I know. I saw this awesome somebody put on Pinterest, and they were like, so apparently their elf had a bit of an accident and broke their leg, and Santa gave them direct orders not to move at all. Part of the fun is the moving. So yeah, I'm thinking everybody probably puts their own twist and rules on there, but just like we got the elf on the shelf, here's what I kind of see. I fully expect that some houses, I am definitely not into decorating our house as much. I would love to have the energy, enthusiasm and extra expenditure to do that, but really it's probably the financial part that holds us back. It's to a certain extent, but I'm also don't feel I wish I could do it. Missed. Because it's how much money you spend for lights and then getting this, and it's not like we have lights on this place before, so it's like you have I guess the carryover lights you use every year that sit there. You just buy an extra pack the next year and build on it. We've been renting for exactly, so many years. So I'm not that concerned about it. What I do kind of see and kind of imagine is there are freer options. Let's say if AR becomes more of a thing and maybe connects to your cell phone or becomes AR. AR is more for
we call it, it's something with imaging.
Augmented reality.
Thank you. Yes, augmented reality.
I hadn't even heard of this, and somehow I knew what it was.
I talk around you tech enough for you to kind of indirectly pick up on it. But we call it AR. With AR, you can actually like put like digital materials around your own house. So just like you can move around with the like Oculus and stuff like that, you can probably dress your house. And I can imagine like with like games like Pokemon
in Barbie
Go.
Life in the Dream House, where they have these like stickers that they can stick on the wall, and then out pops of freaking furniture or whatever. I want that.
Oh yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, something like well, here's what I was actually thinking. Like Pokemon Go, you can walk around and in real life, kind of play with a digital version of the world, Pokemon. Imagine if you just like put on your goggles via your cell phone or whatever, and as you're passing by houses, seeing what kids have done by just decorating their front yards with digital art. I can kind of see, like, I think digital is going to have a much bigger presence and probably more popular presence than we see today. So like where we actually see lights, and that's a cool thing. And I think it's never going to go away. I do think that, we'll also have public experiences where people can drive past like a certain building and see things written in lights and stuff like that. I mean, I see that growing. I see the digital space is probably going to be something closer entwined to childhood, because that's what our kids are doing now. So those are experiences they're getting right now.
I know. So
I think the next generation, this is going to be like,
our daughter learned how to unlock my cell phone when she was 2. Yeah.
And then there's other people that do the same thing. That they know how to use take pictures and stuff like that better than their parents do.
Yep. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of things she knows how to do better than me tech-wise. I'm pretty decent.
You're better than a lot of people. Yeah. You may underestimate yourself, like, because every time you get confused, when you hit that point of getting confused, like, oh my God, I don't get it. But usually the problems when you're having certain problems, they're not easy to solve problems from the get-go. So they're like legit problems that you think everybody else can solve but you. But, they're like, no, this is actually a big one. We should probably call somebody on this or whatever. Well, you actually talk to the people for Facebook. And I was thinking, like, you can't talk to Facebook. You actually talk to Facebook.
I did.
Like, how is that possible? So, but yeah, I mean, like, so just because when you enter a problem, whatever, it's I kind of like, you're a lot better. You literally have talked to Facebook. They were emailing with
me and stuff because I apparently like uncovered this really big issue that nobody had let them know about. It was pretty crazy.
They even got to send like, little copies and stuff like that. And it's a cool experience. Anyway, wrapping this up, let's go ahead and say to everyone listening and who have joined us, this has been a very exciting, near end of this month. Thank you so much. And year, yes.
It's been a crazy year, although we'll still talk to you again before the year ends, probably. Next time we talk to him,
it will be the new year.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because
we're pretty darn close.
We release on Mondays, and the Monday after.
Well, I think Monday's the 31st. I'm looking it up.
All right. We are gonna.
Yeah, Monday's the 31st. So next time we talk to you, it will still be 2018.
Oh my goodness, we gotta do a New Year's episode. Okay, so stay tuned for that New Year's episode, and we don't know what we're gonna come up with. If we're always listening, I have some plans for next year. We're gonna do some bigger and better things.
Yep.
One of those is looking for some sponsors. Actually, no.
Well, and ways to connect more with, with those who are listening to us, so you can put your input in. Because we feel like one of the downsides is it's not easy to connect with people, so we want to find a way to make that easier.
Yeah. And when we do get connection, I tell you, it lights up our day. It really does. Anyway, so before we just have this drag on, let me go ahead and say thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you.
Happy New Year. Well, no, we just talked about that, didn't we? Yes. I'm so used to saying
I know they usually go in together.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. On 3, 2, 1. We're just gonna say Merry Christmas one more time.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas. And don't say that. Huh? What? Supposed to be a smooth transition. You're messing up. Thank you so much for listening. This is the It Couple.
Song,
and until next time, you guys take it easy.
It's Hawaiian. Melakaliki Maka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day.
I love you.
That's the island greeting that we send to you in a land where palm trees sway. Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright, the sun to shine by day and all the stars at night. Melakaliki Maka is the wise way to say Merry Christmas to you.
Well, thank you for putting the new song. I'm going to put it for our intro out.
Oh, it was horrible. I was way off key.
What do you talk about? You said it was great. And everyone else thinks you're great. And until next time, everyone, please enjoy.
But I can't
be
not
great.
sing that song when I start it.
Just
take it easy, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.